My big belief, small is beautiful. Do it small, but do it well. When somebody is first starting, I say, how much do you think you're going to need? And they usually say, oh, I'm going to plant 20 by 50. And I say, take half of that, plant it in a green manure crop, maintain and do a good job on the first half, and next year expand. There's only one person who ever followed that instruction, and he was very happy at the end of the season because his comment was, I never realize how much weeding it was going to be. And he was glad he didn't have that other half to weed. A green manure crop, the purpose of it is to smother weeds out. Usually I recommend a mixture of oats, peas, and buckwheat as a summer green manure crop. And then in the fall, you weed whack it. And then you plant a fall green manure crop, which I recommend rye or wheat. These plants are growing vigorously. They fix nitrogen because there's the peas or clover. They add organic matter to your soil and fertilize it at the same time. And then you have a better garden area for the next year. Personally, I don't like plowing. Solarizing lawn directly. You can start a bed by just putting paper, cardboard, 6 inches of compost, and mulching. But for somebody who is starting out, and if you want a crop right away, I would recommend plowing. Plow twice as much as you need, plant half of it in a green manure crop, and then focus on improving the soil quality in that smaller area. About 2.5 pounds compost per square meter. Oh, it's about that.
It's not that much, yeah.
No. pH is important, so about 2.2 pounds of lime per square meter too. Green manure crop, on the other side, will do its own nutrient improvement. Not really. Start and do something. Then, if you want to improve on what you have, then soil test. If things are not doing well, I would start 6 inches of compost. I'd go a little heavier. Pick your rocks. Also add a lot of organic matter. So I would add leaves or leaf mulch or peat moss or something like that. The natural bacteria and worms recycle your nutrients in the soil, and you want them to become very active. A lot of people plow the garden and then pull the sod away. Plow it and leave the sod in there. Leave it underneath and work the top because the sod will actually become nutrients. But you can do it by just cardboard, 6 inches of compost, half an inch of soil on top. I would recommend the lasagna method for raised beds, but you need a lot of stuff. A friend of mine actually did it, and she was so amazed about her first year's crop, but her husband commented it was a lot of work to set up. Yeah, you need truckloads of stuff. If you're older, I strongly recommend raised beds because it's easier on your hips, and it can be as simple as 6 inches. I don't do rows. I recommend a 3-foot wide bed. Keep your walkways to minimal. I don't like weeding walkways, so I mulch my walkways. Take advantage of mulches that you have in your yard, grass clippings, leaf clippings, bark mulch, hay, straw. I know straw is expensive, but it works. Shredded paper works. Seaweed works, but it's slippery. I don't recommend using old carpets because the old carpets photodegrade and they release the PCBs in your soil. If the water pools, don't plant a garden there. Unless you want to invest in drainage tiles, it's extremely expensive. If your soil is high clay, if you squeeze it and you roll it in your fingers, it makes almost like a ribbon. It's very clayey. You need to quadruple the amount of organic matter you add to your soil. I would also recommend adding a little bit of sand. And sometimes you have what you call these clay pockets. And I had one in the garden, lots of organic matter. And I added the sand and then some compost on top. The worm did all the work of mixing it for me. And then the worms work a little faster in a good high organic matter soil.